let's start with The Witcher.
Oh, you want to get in The Witcher? Okay.
Let's do The Witcher first.
Well, let's not spoil The Witcher. Let's just talk about it because I feel like there's still a lot of people that haven't finished it.
Witcher's been out for a hot minute.
There's a lot of shows out there. I don't think we should spoil it, but I think we can give our take on it.
Sure.
And plus, I don't want to sit here for 45 minutes after we've already been here forever.
Sure.
So let's just give our general thoughts.
Sure.
Nothing too spoily.
Okay.
Because there are quite a few people that have not seen it yet, and then we'll give it another couple weeks, and then we'll spoil it. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just like, as a moviegoer, I just hate spoiling shit when I feel like TV's a little bit different.
I get you. Witcher's been how long? Witcher's been out for a month?
Yeah. It's been out for a month.
That's a hot minute, Jeff.
It's a hot minute. But you know what? Let's give it a little bit of time. Since we have so much to talk, bro, we're talking Star Wars,
I know.
The Witcher, and Mandalorian.
The spoilers I don't think would add much time.
I mean, it's either that or we can scrap The Witcher, and then we can spoil it next week. Let's go.
I'll keep it real simple, I guess. We'll keep it short.
All right.
The Witcher was a good show.
You liked it?
I liked more than I didn't like about it.
Okay.
I thought that the pacing was horrific. The time jumping was almost unmanageable, even as somebody that had a base knowledge of everything that was going on.
Yeah, that was the most confusing part.
So if you had zero knowledge...
Yeah. We had zero knowledge.
Buckle the fuck.
Yeah, it took us, I think, by episode 4, we realized what was happening.
Other than that, it was about as good as I could hope for the first season of this show to be.
So Henry Cavill.
It met my expectations.
What did you think?
Well, what the fuck? But now you haven't played the games, but now you.
Oh, dude, I don't give a fuck about the games.
So what I mean is, what I mean is, you didn't know what Geralt was like, and when I was trying to describe to you that, thank God, I mean, Henry Cavill does not need to act. Now you know, Henry Cavill doesn't have to do anything but go and fuck, and that's literally 95% of the emotional range that Geralt of Rivia requires for The Witcher. So he's perfect. All he needs is his genetically modified massive muscles that burn through leather fucking armor like he's some sort of genetic god. And go and fuck. And then that's it. He has done his part.
Yeah.
What he did do fucking well, and what the show did better than any other show that I've ever seen, is the sword fighting.
Yeah, it was really
There
good.
was more weight behind every swing in that show than any other thing that I have personally seen. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but personally, I've never seen another show, especially with somebody like a high profile like Henry Cavill, go so hard.
Yeah. Oh, he went hard
in the
paint.
fights.
Yeah.
And the weight behind the swings and the hits felt harder than anything else I've ever seen. Fuck Game of Thrones. Fuck any movie I've ever seen that involved medieval fight. Nothing has hit harder than those.
What about that
first?
What about that first sword scene?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Woo! Fuck.
That's some top quality
dude,
shit.
I saw that. I was going, what? Oh, this is where we're going. Oh, this is because that first episode, I was feeling it. But then we get into the first sword fight, and I'm going, whoa!
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
Whoa!
There was some good shit in there.
Dude, that shit was crazy.
And so, that's aesthetically looks fucking fantastic. I think the show looks as good as I could have hoped it to look. Henry Cavill looks and sounds like fucking Geralt of Rivia almost in a disturbing level.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems to be casted well. They're playing their roles well. I didn't find anyone to be a particularly weak actor or actress. And that's even given a lot. I mean, there's some dense lore and shit going on here. And so you have to deliver stuff in a way that for somebody that has no idea what's going on is still digestible. And for the most part, they did it well.
Yeah.
The second season, I think, is going to be substantially better than the first, if only because it will be way more linear because they got all the weird time travel shit out of the way to try and get the backstory all caught up. And they got they did 3 seasons worth of shit in one season just to get the wheels turning on The Witcher. And so I think season 2 is going to be very fucking good. Very good.
So if you had to rank it out of 10,
I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
I'd give it a 7. And really, the points that I would take the most off of are for the pacing and the poor time jumping. And it's not that the time jumping happened. It's every show that does that kind of like Wayback Machine shit has their own. The writers have their own ways of letting the viewer know if they're watching something in the past or in the
it's
or
usually
the present,
like a color palette on the
whatever.
screen, or
Sometimes color palette. A lot of times it's what somebody says.
Yeah.
There's a point at which one of the characters looks at Mr. Toss a Coin to Your Witcher and says, she makes mention of his crow's feet. And if you don't know what crow's feet are, they're the wrinkles on the sides of your eyes.
Yeah.
That was the writer's way of telling you that we had gone forward after what we had just watched by a number of years.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but that's too subtle for most people, especially if you have no background knowledge of The Witcher's world and characters and kind of how the story went. So that's where most of the points get lost. If this was the second season, it would get like a 5 or 6. But since this is the first season of a very dense series of books and games that they had a lot of hurdles to get over, working in the first season blues of not everyone's gelling 100% yet. The combat's going to be good, but we don't have the budget to necessarily blow it like we might in the next couple of seasons. It was very well done in general for what they were given, and I think season 2 will probably be substantially better.
Yeah, I'm not too far from you. I thought Henry Cavill was perfect casting.
Literally, I mean, he's a massive fan of the game too, which was even crazier.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that I can think of that would have embodied the character he did.
The only one that I can think of, but it would have to be a different point in the time of The Witcher, like when he had aged more, is Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think I could look past Mads. I think the only one that I think could do better, or as good, is I forget his name, but the dude that played Jaime Lannister. I think he would make a really good Geralt.
I know who you mean. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Put some long hair on him. I think that, and he's still got that voice. He's got the accent.
Yeah.
I think he could do well with that. But Henry Cavill, I think was perfect casting.
Yeah.
I think he did great. Like you said, the range for the character is not particularly high, but even what he was given, he did a great job with it.
Yeah. I think that's a lot because he knows the character so fucking
Nikolai,
well.
Yeah. So that's what I thought of him. The other characters and stuff I thought was well done. When you're doing fantasy like this, it can come off cheesy. It can almost come off like the Science Network type shit. You know what I mean? Like the Sci-Fi Network, where
you need a certain amount of budget and a certain amount of rapport with the audience before it doesn't look cheesy.
Exactly,
because this is basically like grittier Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And Lord of the Rings, you go back and watch it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that. Lord of the Rings doesn't. This doesn't even have that. That gravitas. That
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And the type of fantasy, this is very
Yeah. Well, this is Game of
similar.
Thrones. This was when Netflix said that this was going to be their Game of Thrones. This was very much Game of Thronesy.
You can see it. There's not as much politics, but there's enough.
No, but I think the politics are going to come.
Yeah.
And it was the fantasy, the eccentric characters, the feel of it, the action tone, I think was very Games of Thronesy. It wasn't the writing. This is going to sound crazy. I don't think the writing was as intriguing as Game of Thrones, or at least in the first few seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because let's not get it twisted. This season of fucking Witcher is better than the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Well, yes.
which really wasn't a hard feat. But it was. Yeah, it was better. It was just a better time.
It was better.
It was a better time.
You know what a hotter take is? It's better than The Mandalorian.
Oh, I'm already there.
Not in this room, but out in the internet. That's probably a hot take.
This is better. Yes, it was better than Mandalorian.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I thought the show where it lacked was the timeline, was the jumping of the different timelines. And that's
Yeah.
not really a spoiler. And you know what? If it is, you're probably happy I'm telling you. Because things happen in a weird, and then you start to see things come together.
You have to pay very close attention.
I will say, they did it in a way that it wasn't like once you got the hang of what they were doing, it was easy to follow or easier to follow.
It just took me too long to get to that point.
It took us to episode 4.
Yeah,
Kayla looked at me and said, "Wait, isn't this
what timeline are we in right now?"
And then I didn't get the crow's feet one. There was one where a character literally said like a bunch of time had passed, months or something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, wait. And then there was with the girl and stuff. Anyway, I want to say too much, but it was episode 4. It was almost beginning episode 4 where I was like, oh, this whole thing. And then things started clicking more. Then I started like realizing what was really going on, and then I started enjoying the show.
The other
even more.
hurdle for it, and what made it also very difficult, is that when they jumped, most of the characters were remaining the same people. They didn't look any younger or older. Any of them.
Yeah.
And the locations were the same.
Yeah.
So like the throne room, for example, is used for 3 different timelines.
Yeah.
And everyone that's in the room almost everyone is in all 3 timelines.
It would have been cool if they changed the look of the throne room and stuff to make it look more worn down, or change the decor.
So this isn't spoilers, but like again, very covert shit.
Yeah.
Where before they did a time jump, they mentioned the queen being having been in combat.
Yeah.
And then they jumped, and she's coming back
from the combat.
From combat.
Yeah.
Like so, it's not that they didn't. But
you
it
know
was
what?
like they were just
yeah, but
like,
you know what? I can appreciate that too.
That shit.
I can appreciate it because
sometimes it's too overt. Like sometimes it's too heavy.
Yeah, because because sometimes you don't want them to tell you. And one thing that The Witcher didn't do is they didn't treat their audience like they're stupid. This is a show that you can watch multiple times, and on the second viewing, you're gonna get a lot more.
Yeah,
and I can appreciate what they did. This is not a show that you want to half watch. This isn't like if you got to go take a piss, you're gonna want to pause it and go take a piss and then come back and keep watching.
Keep watching. Yeah.
And that's the
good.
makings of a good show.
Exactly.
I mean that's what we want ultimately.
There wasn't a lot of growing pains in this first season.
No.
Which was my biggest concern for it because of the source material.
Yeah. Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
And this isn't even a hot take. This is just the reality.
Okay.
Now, most people did love the show.
Yes.
And it's a big success.
A vast majority.
Now, there are some people that are like, "Oh, they didn't get this character right. They didn't do this.
Triss is the biggest sticking point for everyone.
Yeah. Here's the thing. And this is the truth. Netflix did not make this show for your video game lovers.
No.
And they didn't make this show for the book lovers.
No.
They made this show on the backs of how successful Game of Thrones was.
Mm-hmm.
They had source material that people were aware of.
You can make a good show from.
That you can make a good show from. They're going to change things. I guarantee you. There's going to be things that aren't going to match up to what you thought. But here's the reality. They tapped into a market that the Game of Thrones have left for now. And people were wanting and now are conditioned to get this type of content, that fantasy. You've got Henry Cavill looking buff, looking sexy. You've got titties all over the place.
It's dense.
It's more dense.
Yeah.
It's something that you can binge, and they have blown up The Witcher. This isn't. This is.
It wasn't The Witcher game making the show popular.
No,
We literally just talked about this is the show making the game popular.
There's a reason why there's more downloads now than ever before.
There was before, yeah.
This is making The Witcher become famous. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
The good source material allowed someone to go, okay, I think I can write a show here. We got an actor that is begging to play it, a well-known actor that isn't, that isn't tied down to something. Where
he's not tied down to anything.
No,
he's going to be expensive, but he's not going to be.
He's not. Yeah, he's
crazy expensive.
No, he's going to get more expensive now. The show's doing well. And he deserves it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they made this show for new audience. This show resonates with women very well, not only because Henry Cavill, but also the type of material and stuff is in there. And then plus, you've got the video game nerds out there that love the shit. And you know what? They didn't fuck it up.
No.
So now you look at it as the video game guy or gal that love the video games that can still enjoy the show and not fucking hate it.
You know what? A lot of people in the gaming community get caught in this trap a lot, and it especially comes up when people are wondering, why haven't we gotten a Halo movie yet? Why does that keep treading water? Why haven't we gotten a Gears of War or a fucking The Last of Us or fucking Uncharted? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Indiana
That's
Jones
coming.
for fucking.
Uncharted's coming.
Yeah, but that's been coming.
Oh, it's filming
for a while.
It's filming right now.
Good. So
Spider-Man is playing him.
Tom
Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yep.
So there's a reason for it. Is that as gamers, especially if you play a lot of games, you get in a fucking bubble where you'd think that because you and everyone that you know knows about this shit and it's popular amongst them and it wins lots of video game awards and everyone in the world talks about it, and they had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson come out and give a fucking hand off to a developer on stage, and it was weird and awkward because he tried to make a joke and nobody fucking got it because it's a bunch of room of geeks. Nobody fucking knows about The Witcher in the grand scheme of things.
Nobody cares either.
It's an extraordinarily popular book series in a hyper-specific fucking category of people.
More popular now.
That broke into the games, and then the games opened up The Witcher to a different market that perhaps didn't read the books and then maybe went back and read the books afterwards. And then you have the TV show, which is going to reach by far, and if you don't think this, you're fucking delusional, the widest audience by far, and it is already
combined, bro.
Already being seen and affected the games sales.
Imagine the
and
book
playing
sales.
and playing.
Imagine the books.
Everything is gonna fucking go up from the show.
Yeah.
This is not it was already popular thing. This is somebody, like you said, who is a relatively well-known actor, who's not super expensive but will be now, who looks and sounds exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, this is one of his favorite books and movies or games of all time.
Yeah.
Who's begging
He's
to
been
do this shit.
campaigning for this forever.
Campaigning for it.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones just dropped the ball and stabbed it and deflated it with a knife at the end of theirs, and everyone's wanting this type of content.
Yeah.
And there's just enough traction with the name and even more with the actor that you just say, yes, greenlight it. Fucking go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here we are.
And it did great. It didn't drop the ball. Was it a perfect show? No. But man, was it refreshing? It was fun. I enjoyed sitting down. Kayla and I watched it over 4 days. We watched 2 episodes a day. We had a great time with it.
Yes.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yep.
I think, like you said, season 2 will be even better.
Yep.
The budget's going to go up.
Yep.
Netflix knows they have a massive hit on their hands.
Yep.
Henry Cavill must be loving the reception that he's getting from all this
He
as well.
gets to do something that he gets to do, a character that he loves, and make a lot of money doing it.
And it's minimal effort. I mean, I in terms of the acting and stuff,
the action part, definitely not minimal effort.
No, that's definitely
it's maximum effort.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of he doesn't. It's almost like it's in his wheelhouse. Like
it
isn't challenging him, at least from what I'm seeing.
This is like asking Tom Cruise to do Mission Impossible.
Yeah, exactly. He's just having a he's having a ball.
He plays Tom Cruise
very well
in a movie where his name just so happens to not be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt. This is Ethan Hunt. Yeah. Interchangeable.
Yeah.
This is
good on him, man.